Well, folks, it looks like World War III is back on again. In case you were wondering, they had a couple of things that took our mind off it for a while. Some trains derailing with hazardous materials in them, and then the banking collapse, and the rush on the border in El Paso, and a lot of things. But all while these were going on, they're still pounding those drums of war and marching into number 3 over there in Europe. And to use a scatological reference here, if we thought number 2 was bad, number 3 is going to suck, right? For those of you who got that, you're welcome. Just came to me. When I woke up today, I saw that there was something in the community section of the Patreon, on the Patreon site, and if I was going to say if I haven't mentioned it, but I mention it every time, because if you're not with us on Patreon, you need to be, not so I get $1, but so that you get the added information. If you're truly serious about preparing, if you're truly serious about keeping up, and you want the best in the information, the latest in information, that's where you're going to get it, over on the Patreon side. Not just from what I talk about, because I do talk about things over there that I don't talk about here, but because we have a broad basis of experienced people over there who contribute, not just in the comment section, but in the community section. And when I woke up today, I checked and I saw that there was a post from Triple G. He had passed on a tweet that caused me then to look further and find the articles that supported that tweet, and it told us that the Fed has said it will guarantee it will inject up to $2 trillion into the banking system, into the financial system. What does that cause? Inflation. What have we been dealing with? Inflation. What do you get when you've been dealing with inflation and you add more? Well, if you thought that the last couple of years have been bad, get ready for worse. Our little drone situation over there in over the where was it, the Black Sea or the Red Sea? I've had the Black Sea, I'm sure, wherever it was. So Vlad, they go and spray some fuel over one of our drones. They damage the propeller. Our people have to crash land it in the sea. Now everybody's going after it, and it's, of course, hey, this is the kind of pinprick. You remember that Napoleon said, if they want to avoid wars, nations need to avoid the pinpricks that precede them. Well, these are the pinpricks, okay? But we've been not just pinpricking Russia for a long time. We have been stabbing them with a big old skewer. And I think, feel how you want to about this, but I'd suggest you study a lot if you think that, study more if you think that Russia is the bad guy in this. They're not the ones starting this crap. I know, Ukraine. And now Poland says that they are going to send some MiGs to Ukraine. This is on top of everybody's sending tanks to Ukraine, right? So war is definitely not happening. Okay. I was surprised. Now, I'm not a military expert, but I was surprised that now, maybe I'm wrong, but the article said they were sending MiGs. I'm surprised that Poland has MiGs instead of, F-16s. But, hey, what do I know? World War III, what does it mean to you? We need to get ready. Before I get into that, I forgot and wanted to tell you, by the way, the new book is just exploding. Hostages to Fortune. It's the 6th book in the Stonemont series. The Stonemont series, regardless of whatever else you see on this, that YouTube puts on my videos, all of my videos are brought to you by and sponsored by the Stonemont series. My books that detail, that talk about, that explain, that plan in excruciating detail, in novel form, in the form of an exciting story of people and good people and bad people and good people doing, taking care of the bad people in the proper way, and love and all those sorts of things. Strong women, strong men, what happens to weak men when, reality shows up, all those kinds of things. Those are all included in my series that is now 6 books long: The Reversion, The Revival, The Renewal, and Appeal to Heaven, The Blessings of Freedom. And as I said, the latest one, Hostages to Fortune. If you haven't read these yet, you read them in order, okay? They're very important. They're not standalone books. They are one huge story, one saga, one whatever, that have to be read in order. You can read this one first, and you'll go, well, that was kind of cool. That was a lesson. That's kind of, but who are these people, and why are they saying that? And that's why you got to read them like this. It's kind of like history, kind of like life. And I talk about all sorts of things. I talk about naturally preparedness and survival, and I say I've never been asked a question that I haven't already answered in detail in one of these books. That's why, I get a lot of questions on YouTube and on Patreon and through messages and through emails and stuff like that. And they ask me questions, and I think, well, I spent a chapter on that. Not putting down the questions. I don't mind the questions at all. Just letting you know that that's what they're. These are available on Amazon in Kindle, in paperback, and this latest one is the first one that is now available in hardback. How about that? When I get around to it, and as I say, I always have 9 million irons in the fire, so I don't get things done all that quickly as I would like, or as quickly as some as you would like. But when I get around to it, I'm going to make sure that these are all available in hardback, and I have to reset them and everything like that. They're slightly different size, and it takes some work, and I have other things going on. A special little thing, so you can get them from Amazon. The link is down below, or you can get them from me personally, autographed, with whatever you would like me, send me. The instructions are down there with the address. They're $15 a piece, and you just let me know, who you want me to make it out to, what you want me to say. As long as there's no bad words and I don't have to lie, I'll be happy to do it. And I'm not going to say to my very best friend John if I don't know John. That's not what I do. I'll say the very best and all that. But you can get them from me autographed. You can also get the hardback of the Hostages to Fortune autographed if you'd like. It's more expensive. The prices are down below. But for those who buy them from me, the entire set, and I know a lot of people already have this set, but they keep buying more sets to give away as gifts and to friends. And man, thank you so much. And that's really the way that we spread, the news. And for people who buy the entire set from me, I'm going to throw in the new Stonemont notebook as a gift from me, free from me. This also sells on Amazon for, I think, $10 or something like that. And it's a neat little notebook. What it is, it's just a notebook. It was inspired by Sherry Fancoli, and it's a way to, write your lists and keep your notes. And as you can see, I've already started using mine. Excuse me just a second. It says on the front, Stonemont, where life is good, which is Stonemont's motto. It's on the t-shirts that will be out again very soon. It talks a little bit, I won't read it and take your time right now, but it talks about kind of what Stonemont is there. And it also says, commit thy works unto the Lord, one of my favorite verses, and thy thoughts shall be established. That's what that means. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will succeed. Not if you do it in the wrong way, but if you do it in the right way. Okay. So World War III, it's coming. They're bound and determined. I've talked about this before. They're gearing up. If you know your history, if you know your pre-World War II history and your pre-World War I history, you see a perfect reflection. Well, maybe not perfect, but you see the pattern being established. Okay, nobody here, no Americans, for the most part, except for the Gramnesties, those who follow along behind Senator Gramnesty, who always wants a war. Nobody wants a war. None of us want a war in Ukraine. None of us are going to send our kids to fight a war for the banks and the government, okay? Simple as that. I've already told all of my kids, you ain't going fighting anybody's war. But they're going to have it. They're going to have it. Nobody wanted, the Americans didn't want to fight the Second World War. I know that looking back on it, and they teach us in school and all that, oh yeah, saving the war from the Nazis, and if we hadn't gone over there, y'all would be speaking German right now. Well, I have a lot to say about that I won't say right now, but you don't know the truth of that war. Same with World War I. Nobody wanted to be a part of that war, but our government set it up, poking them. Look into the Lusitania. Look into the truth about the sinking of the Lusitania that got us into World War I. Trace it back to the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand in Sarajevo. See how all that came about. Anyway, that's enough history. What we're concerned about now is this number 3. We had our number 1. Follow me with the anatomical analogies here. Got a number 1, a number 2, and now a number 3 is coming, because when it comes, that's what it's going to be like. It's going to be like a number 3. If they want it, it's happening. There's nothing that we can do to get around it or to avoid it. So we have to be ready to survive it. Okay, we have to be prepared enough. You have to be prepared enough to be able to continue to live a livable life regardless of what's happening in this insane world around you. Now, what does that mean? It starts with basic preparedness. Basic preparedness. We know that. But it also, your ability to withstand what's coming rests on several things. First off, it rests in your trusting God and seeking His direction, protection, guidance, and blessing. Simple as that. That's number 1. Second, yourself, your smarts, okay, your resilience, your determination. Those things that make the difference between winners and losers. Secondly, your family. Third, your family. Although I know most of us put our families ahead of ourselves, but we got to take care of ourselves. We got to make sure that we're tightened up first, right? Okay. Family. Is your family tight? Some aren't. That's going to suck. But even within some families that are screwed up, you've got pockets. You've got a few people that are tightened up, right? And then the others. You got to make sure that those ones who can be tightened are tightened. Okay, stay tight. Your group, your mag, your tribe, your crew, and I just call it circle of friends. Your group is knowledgeable. It's keeping itself informed. It's watching what's going on in the world. It's getting ready, and it should be increasing its preparedness position, its preparedness stance. Okay. Beyond that, your contacts. Think about the people out there that may not be a part of your group, but you have good relations with. Those are your contacts. Do you have people who can do the skills, can do the trades? Do you have people who can deliver medical services? Do you have people who can fix a car? Do you have all of these things? And in this, you're going to find that when things go south, it creates a lot of opportunities for people that really the better world didn't. Maybe I'll tell a story about. No, I'll save that. By the way, if you're not with us over on Prepping for Prosperity, you should be, because that's where I'm going to put this story that I almost told here. It was about how my grandparents survived the Depression. And and they both survived. They did fine. One did extra well. I'm going to talk about that and how that occurred. And by the way, that's just exploding over there, the prepping for prosperity. It's about, that's where I talk about how do you increase your financial, and this is the next step after this, and it's extremely important, your financial preparedness. Okay, a lot of people in the prepper verse don't like to talk about that because, to be real honest, a lot of people in the preparedness world are doing that well. Financially, if for whatever reasons, but they've been made. There has been this loop, this information loop that continues and continues and continues. That the idea that really preparedness and survival is being able to do with less or with nothing, as close to nothing, instead of being able to increase your assets and develop, your both your abilities and your gear and your supplies and all that. Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy food. And sometimes when the world is starving and you have food, you might count that as happiness. So anyway, I join us over there on Prepping for Prosperity. That's where I talk about how to increase your financial situation. And the link is down there. Now, speaking of food, this is the time to start growing your gardens. It's tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day. It's the day to make sure you have your potatoes in the ground, right? So get them out there, but if you're not planting your garden, you should be now. And this is the year, because of everything that we've seen. So far, we're having a pretty wet spring, which is at least around here. And that's nice, because we need it to get the ground ready. But plant everything you can. If you're a brand new gardener, that's okay. That's okay. Get a couple of 5-gallon buckets or a couple of pots and start doing it in containers. I'm going to do a separate one on this about gardening, so I won't get into this in detail right here. But increase. If you garden already, garden more. Grow as much as you possibly can. If you haven't gardened, start learning about it. There are some things that are easy to grow, and you're going to like the results of it. Herbs. Here in a couple of weeks, Home Depot, Lowe's, all the places in the world are going to have all their plants out selling to people. Get a couple of herbs. Get a rosemary. Get a basil. Get an oregano. Get some mint. Put them in pots on your patio or your deck or wherever, and watch them grow. And go out there in the mornings and snip off a little bit, and you're gonna start understanding not just the importance, but the joy of gardening. Grow a couple of tomato plants in pots if you want, some peppers if that's what you. But do it. There's a video out there that I forget the name, and I thought I had it in my watch later list, but I can't find it. I'm going to try to find it. It's about that guy out in L.A. that grew, I don't know, small acre gardening or something like that. In his little yard, he grew all of the food he and his 3 kids needed, and got to the point to where he had such a surplus, he was supplying restaurants and making money. So, and I know a place right up here north of the river in the Kansas City area, a guy started growing tomatoes and has just become like the tomato king. He grows every kind of tomato in the world, specialty tomatoes. He supplies a lot of the fancy restaurants, and people go, wow, I've never seen a tomato like this. He started a business because he started growing a few tomato plants, and that's a good lesson for developing a new stream of income. Anyway, all of the things that you need to think about if we're going, as we're going into what looks like it's going to be World War III, and if you thought those first 2 were toilets, this is going to be even more. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to shoot one for the patrons over on the Patreon site. Again, if you're not with us, you need to be. If you're not with us over on Prepping for Prosperity, and you're truly interested in becoming more prepared, you need to be over there. Remember that this is brought to you by my books, the Stonemont series. Get them on, Amazon if you want, or if you want the whole series. There's a way to do that. The address to send your check right down there. I have a lot of people send me, well, I'm not even going to say that. I won't say that on here. But if you buy the whole series, I throw this one in for free for you, and I think you'd like this. So anyway, you all have a good day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and if World War III is coming and we want to live well tomorrow, we better prepare better today than we usually do, okay? You all have a good one, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.